Oh man, today is a great day. Because the Chicago Bears have hired Ben Johnson to be their next head coach. Boy, I cannot tell you how excited I am for this. Now, as sports fans, we all just have to allow ourselves to be excited about something, especially when your team's bad. Because where is the fun in staying grumpy and mad about everything just because they aren't winning the Super Bowl every year, right? You have to allow yourself to get excited about something. And I'm going to get really excited about this because this is 100% the right hire in this cycle. So many times the Bears have hired the third or fourth best option in a cycle. They've hired a bunch of duds since they fired Lovie Smith. Could this finally be the move that gets the Bears not even into contention, but into mediocrity where winning 9 games isn't a massive success, where winning 9 games becomes the norm, right? I think that would be the benchmark for Ben Johnson being a great coach. Look, this is absolutely the right hire. So many times the Bears have hired the third or fourth best option in the coaching cycle. Just look at the last coaching cycle. They hired Matt Eberflus really early. And, well, they missed out. The big one that they get compared to a lot is Kevin O'Connell. The guy has done a phenomenal job in Minnesota as a coach. Has not translated to postseason success quite yet, but he's had a lot of success in the regular season, and he's got his team competing, and that's the big thing right now. If Ben Johnson can make this team a competitor for the next decade and a half, or however long he's the coach, right? That's an absolute win. That is an absolute win for a franchise that has had 4 or 5 coaches in a row now that haven't even been competitive for more than 2 years in a row. We're finally going to get someone who possibly could lead this team to being a competitor for years to come down the line. So not only did they hire the top coach in the cycle, the big ticket coach, the one that a lot of NFL analysts and general fan interest, the one coordinator that everyone thinks is going to be the next mainstay in head coaching. The next Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, you name it, right? Kevin O'Connell, Matt LaFleur even. That's what people are saying Ben Johnson is this year. I think it's the perfect hire at the perfect time. Of course, big time mistake over the offseason last year by keeping Matt Eberflus. That was the start of all drama. And so, you rectify that misstep by hiring the top guy in the cycle. Now Caleb Williams has an offensive guru to learn under, and a guy that's not going to throw him into the fire and lose games by not taking a timeout for a Hail Mary, not taking a timeout after a sack. These basic mismanagement of endgame scenarios from Matt Eberflus cost the Bears so many games this season. And you just hope that Ben Johnson, as a head coach, knows what he's doing. And if he can just manage a game clock, dude, that's great. Because Matt Eberflus wasn't the only example of an NFL head coach having problems managing a game clock late. So if Ben Johnson can manage a game clock, that would be awesome. But that would also compound on top of the potential offense that this team can get. Everyone in Chicago saw that fake stumble play the Lions ran against the Bears in their game in Chicago this season, where Jared Goff faked a stumble on a handoff to Jahmyr Gibbs, got right back up and found Sam Laporta all alone in the corner of the end zone. One of the best play calls all season long throughout the entire league. And now, a guy that can draw up stuff like that is going to be coaching for the Chicago Bears. It's huge considering the offensive weapons this team already has. Some people may not think this team's very good top to bottom. But again, you have now a second-year quarterback, a second-year receiver who is going to be wide receiver 2 on the team. At this point, he should be wide receiver 2 on the team, even if they decide to bring back Keenan Allen. But even then, you have Rome Odunze and Caleb Williams, that duo. Whoever you end up going in the draft for, depending on if you decide to go offensive skill position, or not. I personally think they should just go for an offensive lineman, but that would be huge as well so that Caleb can get some protection. So it also fosters better play calls and more creative play calls for Ben Johnson because Caleb has more time to throw. And he gets a chance to throw to Odunze, DJ Moore. If they decide to bring back Keenan Allen, he becomes an option again. Caleb and Keenan had a pretty good relationship this season. I think Keenan Allen led the team in, he did. He led the team in reception touchdowns this year. And so then you have Cole Kmet as well, who got incredibly underused this season. Hopefully he can have the bounce back season he deserves under Ben Johnson. And then you have a shifty running back in DeAndre Swift, who didn't have a phenomenal campaign, but didn't have a bad season. Broke off some pretty big time rushing touchdowns this year against Washington, against Green Bay in their first matchup. He had a couple nice moments, but he needs to be more consistent. And hopefully Ben Johnson can unlock that consistency for DeAndre Swift. And I think that if he finds the right defensive coordinator, which according to some reports could be Dennis Allen, who just got fired from a head coaching position in New Orleans, but when he was a defensive coordinator, was pretty freaking good. So he could be the defensive coordinator in Chicago. With that skill group, especially in the secondary, I think this team could be very good next season. But of course, that's all speculation. How many times have we said something like this? Oh, if these things go right and we can maximize the potential out of this player and this coach, then this team's going to be great and it's going to compete. It hasn't really happened that way. Something happens. The coach is wrong. The defense falls apart. The offense can't get anything going. Or all three, as example, this past season we just witnessed. So you hope that Ben Johnson and whoever he brings in can help fix all that. Now, I'm not stupid. I know one move does not change the trajectory for a team's season. One move, one hire, isn't going to dictate the fact that the Bears are going to be a competitor next season. It's going to be a combination of several things. Can they make the right moves in free agency? Can they sign the right defensive coordinator? Can they maximize the potential out of the roster? A couple things are going to need to go right for this team to compete next year. But this is the first step in a lot of steps that they need to make. It's the first right step in a lot of steps they need to make to be a competitor, not just next year, but for the next decade. So before I get out of here, I'm going to go ahead and address the detractors. Well, why would we need to do another offensive coordinator? The last time we hired an offensive coordinator, it didn't work out. We hired Matt Nagy, and that didn't work out. Well, can you name me any coach after Lovie Smith was fired that took the Bears to the playoffs? Oh yeah, Matt Nagy was the only one who did that. Now granted, he wasn't great. He had one great year, but he wasn't great. But he only had one losing season in Chicago. I mean, at this point, if Ben Johnson gets the Bears to the playoffs back-to-back seasons, instantly the most successful coach in the last 15 years for this franchise. Instantly. Because the Bears have had just 2 playoff appearances since the start of the 2010s. No, 2010 had 3. That would be 3 if you count 2010. But, since they fired Lovie Smith, they made the playoffs twice. We'll go with that. And Matt Nagy led them to both of those playoff appearances. Their last offensive-minded head coach. But here's the reason why I think this is the right move. Matt Nagy was running Andy Reid's system in Kansas City before he came to Chicago. He had to learn his own system and craft his own system. And then, of course, he hadn't been calling too many plays so far. They had one good year where they took the league by storm. But once the league figured out what Matt Nagy was doing offensively, Well, they got figured out, and that's exactly what happened. Just average, which honestly is better than most of these other coaches have been able to do. Average is better than bad, last time I checked. But regardless, Ben Johnson, on the other hand, has not only been calling plays for 3 years in Detroit, but he's been running his own system in Detroit. Hasn't been taking the head coach's system and learning it and like teaching that and coaching that. He has been the one crafting this system and the one orchestrating this system. And he calls it during the game. And Ben Johnson's offenses have been top 5 in the league since he took over as offensive coordinator. For reference, the Bears' offense has not ranked higher than 15th at any point in the last 11 seasons. And that was the only time they were in the top 20 in offense. Well, they had one other time that they were 20th exactly, but whatever. 2 times in 11 seasons, the Bears' offense is a top 20 offense in the NFL. It's basically a miracle if they're not a bottom 10 offense in the league. You have a guy coming in who in his 3 years as offensive coordinator ranked 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. This is a massive hire. The Bears' offense may not look like trash or even look average. We might have a top 10 offense next season. With the weapons, the coach, it's the right match at the right time, and it may just save Caleb Williams' career. Because the only reason why the Bears were able to hire Ben Johnson this early, we're on, it's MLK Day today. There's still like 3 weeks to the Super Bowl. Because the Lions got eliminated by a fellow rookie quarterback in Jayden Daniels. If Caleb Williams wants to save his career, he's got to find a way in the next year or two to not only make the playoffs, but maybe win a playoff game if he wants to keep his job. Because there is a short leash on this kid with the success Jayden Daniels is having in Washington. Taking a team to the NFC Championship game in his first season. Only 2 quarterbacks picked in the top 5 have ever done that. And those QBs are Jayden Daniels and Mark Sanchez, who did it for the Jets all the way back in 2009. So, Caleb Williams has the bar set. And it's a pretty high bar, unfortunately, for him. Jayden Daniels has had one of the better rookie seasons we've ever seen. When you talk about success, that adds a factor too. So Caleb Williams needs to find a way to win this city over. The team needs to be successful. The team needs to compete right now, I think. I think this year is a bit of a make or break season for his career specifically. Because who knows? Ben Johnson could just pick another quarterback and the Bears become a great franchise. That could totally happen. But for Caleb Williams specifically and for his career, he's got to make sure he competes this upcoming season. Anyways, that's all I've got. I just wanted to dump out some thoughts about Ben Johnson being the next head coach of the Chicago Bears. Boy, am I excited about this. I think this has potential to be one of the best moves this franchise has ever made. And even if Ben Johnson does not work out and the team goes average, they maybe have 2 years, they get in the playoffs back-to-back, and then they kind of stink and Ben Johnson gets fired, it was still the right move in the offseason that he became available. There will be no one will ever convince me that Ben Johnson was the wrong hire at the time. Obviously, you can look back in retrospect after his tenure's done in Chicago and Liam Cohen has a better tenure wherever he goes or whatever, right? You can go all and do all that. But Ben Johnson was the right hire at the time that the Bears grabbed him. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and stop my rambling. The Bears have nailed Ben Johnson as their next head coach. I'm pretty happy. Anyways, that's it for me. Hit the like button if you liked it. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more from me. I'll be doing a season in review video later this week, so keep your eyes peeled for that. Keep the conversation going in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this hire. Is it the right hire? Are the Bears just going to repeat the cycle again? Let me know. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.